today's MyTV is me creating the video I wished I had been able to watch when I was 32. I'd employed my first member of the team and I was about to understand what it's like to create culture in a business. So if you have team members, have aspirations to have team members, then episode 249 and 250 are for you. Hello and welcome to episode 249 of MyTV. My name is Emma Mills and I help business owners go from solopreneur to getting some team around them to leverage their time so that they can focus on what they do best. And as I said, this week's episode is a video I wished I'd had 10 years ago, and it's actually going to be a two-parter. So this episode is going to detail the key things I wished I had been very aware of to create amazing culture in a business with 10 or less staff. And next week's episode will be about all of the things you absolutely must know if you have ambitions or you're in this messy middle of growing past the 12 staff mark, because after 12 staff, oh my God, things change a lot. My inspiration for this episode comes from my own real life experiences, as MyTV always is. It's a documentation of my journey and what works well and what doesn't, but also because I read a LinkedIn post the other week and it was about culture in a business, and this business I think maybe has like 9 or 10 staff, and it was talking about how fantastic the culture is and all the things they do. They clearly look like they have a great time, they are friends, they go out for drinks together, they have all the kind of snazzy games and things to play in the office, and it was talking about how amazing the culture is in the business. And I read the article and I was like, it looks really cool, it looks like a great place to work. But also the thing that triggered in my head was, and I thought back over my own journey with MiPA, is that when we were sub 10 staff members, culture I found to be incredibly easy. And so today I have a framework of 5 things that were the most important to me and MiPA over the 10-year period that there was 10 staff, and it was the easiest time in terms of culture, but they were easy because we did these 5 things. And the reason why I'm dedicating 2, albeit short, snappy episodes to culture is that, well, as Richard Branson said, clients do not come first, employees come first, because if you take care of your employees, then they take care of everything else. And while you might be a bit, well, no, customers come first, it is ultimately true, and I've experienced it, that when you have happy staff, everything flows into place. When you have unhappy staff, things do not flow into place. And please take it from me, this is first-hand experience. So my 5 things that when you are sub 10 staff, you absolutely must have to do. So number 1, you must tell your journey to everybody that enters your business, that supports you. So whether they are a virtual PA, they're self-employed, or they're employed by you, every new team member that ever joined MiPA up to probably the 20 staff mark, I spent an hour with them at the very beginning of their employment, and I explained to them my journey, why we exist, where we've come from, why we do what we do, and where we are going. Now, I stopped at the 20 mark because we do it in a different way, in groups, in videos, in other ways. But up to even the 20 staff mark, I was sitting down with every single one-on-one. Now, unless you are about to scale your business and employ hundreds of people all in one go, I feel like most people watching MyTV, you might employ somebody. And honestly, if you are not doing this, if you are not connecting with them and looking them in the eye, to just have a coffee and just have a sit down about the general where you've come from, where you are now, where you're going, what your backstory is. Like, every single member of my team knows I was a PA, and that's how my PA was born, because I loved being a PA, but I wanted to start my own business and I loved the relationship with clients. If your staff members at sub 10 team don't know your story, like there is something going wrong. For me, that was point number 1. I had a connection with each of my staff members, and they knew exactly where we'd been and where we were going. Number 2, for me, if you are sub 10 staff, you have to be authentically you. And this is not to say that you're not that when you go over that, but it is so key. So who you are, what you stand for, what you like, what you don't like that fully flows through MiPA. For the past 10 years, Ralph has come to work every single day. What I like influences the way we have a Christmas party or a social get together. Like, my sense of humor, very much like people, it's a part of MiPA. Our language, like how we are, like the image of MiPA, like everything about it is very authentically me. I haven't pretended to be anybody else. I haven't pretended to be this kind of unapproachable person that's just talking about, but like I have been nothing but myself. And if you watch this and think, oh well, I'm not an extrovert or I'm not good with people, those things are just excuses. Like if you are your authentic self, you will attract around you the people that vibe with that want to be a part of it, that want to be a part of your team. It doesn't mean that you must employ a team of people that you want to be best friends with, because that absolutely kicks you in the butt. And what you need is people with skill sets that you don't have. What it means is that the people that come into your team feel like they have an authentic, deep connection with you. Not that they get one version of you and another version exists at home. My authentic self comes through every single day, and I do believe that that has really steered our culture into a good place. Number 3, mentioned it briefly, but you must employ people that replace your skill set. I have been guilty of this originally, and I know lots of other business owners that have. You end up being attracted to people that you might go for a drink with in the pub that will be your friend, and what you don't need at this moment when you're starting your business is just more people to be your friends. You need people that are better than you at lots of things in your business. So whether it's the marketing, whether it's speaking to people, whether it's making sales, whether it's doing the operation, whether it's creating the processes, there are things you know you hate and you need someone to do that. So be very careful of employing someone just because, oh, they're really nice, I got on with them. That's not what you need. You need complementary skill sets. I have made that mistake in the past, and my key learning is what I need around me are people to raise up my skills that I don't have, not people to go for a drink with. Number 4, and this point fits whether you're sub 10 or plus 10 staff, you cannot tolerate anyone that doesn't fit your values. I have got too many experiences, unfortunately, in my own business where as we've grown, we've employed someone, we've for whatever reason our recruitment process has failed, we've added someone into the team that doesn't have the same values as the business, and we've tolerated it for too long, and it makes a damaging impact, to be fair, no matter what size you are at. This is probably one of the toughest ones because we're nice people, we want people to do well, and we don't want to sometimes tackle difficult issues, but it stands out like a sore thumb when you are sub 10 staff. And so somebody that doesn't represent the values that you have, my advice is to remove that person so much quicker than I have done in the past. Please learn from my experience. And number 5, you must have a system and a rhythm to understand that your team members are happy. And it needs to be a combination of 2 different things for me, because you can speak to people and they can tell you one thing and what they're actually thinking is something completely different. So here are the 2 things that I've done. Number 1, the whole time I've had MiPA. Number 2 is a more recent thing. So number 1, you must speak to your team members on a 6-week, 8-week, 12-week minimum basis. For me, like when there's 10 of you, if you're probably in the same office, you should be speaking every day to understand where people are at, giving feedback, catching up with them. But there must be a rhythm of 6 to 8 weeks for me, a sit down to understand whether they're happy in reaching their goals at work, whether they're on course, whether they're happy what's going on at home, like just generally creating relationships with them. Obviously, as you get bigger, it's not you doing all of that, and they'll have team leaders and managers to do that. But in the beginning, when you are sub 10, if you are not one-on-one, looking at your team members in the face, eye to eye, like really understanding where they're at, you're going to do yourself a disservice. And number 2 is a more anonymous way, I guess, ultimately to understand where they're at. So I've spoke about this piece of software before, and we use something called Friday Pulse. Now, if you are below 11 team members, Friday Pulse is free, which actually blows me away when I double checked that this morning, because it is freaking amazing. And it gives you so much data about your team that you will have without actually having to kind of decipher, are they being straight with me? Are they happy? What do they think? Friday Pulse, if you are sub 11 team members, I would implement straight away. It sends out an email every Friday to ask your team, are they happy, and to score what their week at work has been like, and score it a 1 to a 5. So it does that, and then it asks them if there's anybody they would like to say thank you to. It gives them a place to share good stuff among the team or to voice frustrations, and then it asks them a random question, which is a really good kind of office conversation piece. But when this is filled in every week, it gives you just like a little heat map across individuals, across team members, to understand how they are actually feeling. And the really great thing, and we love data at MiPA, is that you can trend it over weeks, so you can see that maybe the person in accounts is trending downwards on being happy, or maybe your sales team are consistently happy, or you get the idea. It gives you a really great data and heat map to understand where your team are at. So if you're sub 10, you must be speaking to them every 6 to 8 weeks as a minimum. And you must also, for me, implement Friday Pulse. It's completely free, and gives your team members a real understanding that you care about how they feel, and it's something that they can easily complete without having to sit down with the boss or somebody that's in charge. They can just answer the email to go, do you know what, this week's been great, or actually, God, it's been a tough slog. This week's been a 2 out of 5. Like, it gives them just a way to be completely honest very easily. So these are my 5 things that I would do rhythmically and make sure they happen. Make sure that there's a system and a process for them in the business, that their one-to-ones get carried out, that Friday Pulse goes out every Friday, that every new team member I'm sitting down with, that I'm consistently authentically me, and that I bring me and my life and my values into it, and that anybody that doesn't fit your business values gets removed quickly. These are the 5 things. If I'd done all of them all of the time over the past 10 years, I would have had a lot less problems than we've faced at different periods of times. These are my 5 big learnings. I hope this week's episode of My TV helps you a lot. And next week's episode is dedicated to anyone that is over 11 members of staff, or whether you've got ambitions to get there or whether it's approaching fast. These are the things in the past 3 years I have learned, and I wish I had already known.